I thought I was different. And I thought I was special. You see, I pondered these notions every time I entered an exam, worked on an assignment, or sat down for an interview. But why is that? Why do individuals in poverty assume they are less academically capable due to their socioeconomic status? The answer to this question is quite multifaceted. So let me illustrate my story to help shed some light on the issue. I was born and raised in Markham, Ontario, a city in the heart of the Greater Toronto Area where the average household has a net worth of roughly $1.6 million. My family, however, was far from average. Growing up, my parents had a combined income of 40,000 Canadian dollars. And due to their minimal cash flow, I was raised in a 700 square foot, 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment, roughly the size of a 3-car garage. Our family of 6 made the living space feel minuscule. As my brothers Mateo, Leo, and I grew older, we began to feel like giants standing in a miniature kingdom. Every night, my mother would lay foam mattresses down on the ground to build a bed for us, which she would then disassemble the following morning to create the space we called our living room. On a nightly basis, my brothers and I would fight over who got to sleep singly on the couch cushions and who had to share the makeshift bed. During the winters, we'd use space heaters to keep warm, and it would keep the apartment just warm enough that we only saw our breath in the very morning. I will never forget the time that I awoke to my parents screaming because the space heater at the feet of my couch bed had caught fire. During our free time, my brothers and I would play basketball against the electrical poles in the shared driveway we called our backyard. Although I grew up in suboptimal living conditions, my life could have always been worse. My parents always provided us with food. And although we didn't have a table to fit everyone and ate brandless generic food, we were satisfied physiologically. When the holidays came around, my brothers and I would spend the weeks leading up stealing each other's things to give us more presents to open on Christmas Day. There was one time we even stole my grandma's side table lamp, and she didn't even notice till the morning of. My parents tried their best to provide us with non-essential resources. And although I only got a prepaid flip phone that I top up each month with 25 calls and 250 texts, at least I had a phone. When it came to vacation time, we'd head over to Niagara Falls, where we'd share a $60 motel room and swim away in the pool we wish was in our own backyard. We even managed to have some get-togethers outside, where we'd carry our couch downstairs into the driveway and create a makeshift playroom. As I grew older, I quickly began to realize that my life was not like others. And I worked very hard to hide this from my peers. And it was successful. Directly after becoming a teenager, I quickly secured my first part-time job, working 22 hours a week to completely remove the financial burden of myself from my parents. The stigma of poverty that I was running from, however, had substantial implications on my self-esteem, leading me to believe that I was not academically capable due to my socioeconomic status. During my public and high school years, my parents provided us with the best resources they could afford, and we utilized them to the best of our ability. During this time, my study space consisted of this old kitchen table, with 2 pieces of paper under 2 of its legs to offset the slanted floor of the apartment, alongside my brothers crying as my parents argued over money. It was very difficult to study. The loud noise, the lack of personal space, and because of this, my academic growth was negatively affected. The decrease in self-esteem, coupled with this slowed academic growth, resulted in my academic capability being negatively affected. And because of this, I felt like I was incapable. Always wanting to become a family physician from a young age, as I reached my first couple years of high school, my story and my dream felt unbeatable. Sometimes I would think that it was meant for somebody else. As I reached my junior year of high school, however, made it to grade 11, I discovered a program that seemed as if I had won the lottery, the Ontario Student Assistance Program, or many of us here at Western know as OSAP. You see, OSAP provided me an opportunity to attend university, and because of this, I worked diligently through my final year of high school, attaining exactly a 91.5% average, barely making it into Western University's nursing program. You see, nursing was a great option for me. It provided an entrance to the healthcare field, an outlet to advocate for individuals' health, and most importantly, a guaranteed job post-graduation. Health science and medical science seemed more interesting, but the fear of failure and lack of job security deterred me. You see, this was my one and only chance, and I could not mess it up. After accepting my offer, I prepared to embark on my university journey, and by July of that year, I had already accepted a part-time job to ensure I could pay the remaining amounts necessary that was not covered by OSAP. After coming to Western, I moved into soggy Maitland Hall, or what many here at Western know as the zoo. As numerous individuals had faces of horror and despair, I was amazed by the space that was given to me.